Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions the card game, we have Black Widow teaming up with Captain America going against Green Goblin and the mutagen formula. So down at the table for heroes, we have Natasha with a recovery of 3. Mission prep ability is a response. After you play a preparation card, draw 1 card, limit once per phase, hand size of 6, hit points of 9. Hero form, she's got 2 for thwart, attack, and defense. Widowmaker ability, a response. After you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy, and a hand size of 5. And for her, I am using protection. So later in the video, I'll go over the deck construction for both of these. I'll put a timestamp in the description below. Then we also have Steve Rogers, recovery of 3. His living legend, reduce the cost of the first ally played each round by 1. And for setup, we'll search our deck and discard pile for shield upgrade and add it to our hand and shuffle our deck. Hand size of 6, hit points of 11. And very similar on the hero form, he's got 2 for thwart, attack, and defense. His ability, I can do this all day, is an action. Discard 1 card from your hand. Ready, Captain America. Limit once per round. And a hand size of 5. And with him, I am using aggression. So we'll see how that goes up against Green Goblin here. So I am going in expert mode. So we're using Goblins 2 and 3 with the expert cards, mutagen formula, and standard sets, along with Goblin gimmicks. For setup, we'll put a Goblin Thrall minion into play engaged with each player, and then shuffle our encounter deck. So we'll go looking for a couple thralls and shuffle our deck. I'll put the obligations in here shortly. So the thralls have a scheme of 1, attack of 1, health of 3, guard ability. So while this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. Then on the flip side here, we've got a threshold of 7 per player, so 14 on this will go to the next stage. When completed in player order, each player not engaged with a goblin minion must discard 3 cards from the encounter deck and put the first goblin minion they discarded this way into play engaged with them. This comes in with 2 threat per player, so we get 4 on that. Then we'll take a look at Green Goblin. So scheme of 2, attack of 2. When revealed, deal 2 encounter cards to each player. And a forced response, after he attacks and damages you, meaning our heroes, place 1 threat on the main scheme and hit points of 18 per player. So starting with 36, 2 encounter cards for each. Then we'll go ahead and put our obligations in and 1 final shuffle for our encounter stack here. Then we can start our starting hand for our heroes. So Natasha gets 6 cards. So I'm definitely good with energy, but we've got acrobatics. We've got 2 of those. Armored vest, a grappling hook, and covert ops. And while I really like acrobatics, there's some other cards that I'd prefer to get, so we'll go looking through 4 more, and I did not find them there. So we've got an armored vest, espionage, Nick Fury, and the power of protection. Then for Steve, we'll get 6 cards. We've got fearless determination, energy, heroic strike, his shield, counter attack, and combat training. So we're definitely going to discard the shield. So we'll discard those, drawing 3 more. Getting Mockingbird, Relentless Assault, and Fearless Determination. Then we can go through our deck and discard pile to find a shield and put it back in our hand. And officially shuffle our deck. So we're going to start by putting in a grappling hook with energy. It's a hero interrupt. When you reveal a treachery, discard this, cancel the effects of that treachery, and discard it. It's a preparation that allows us to draw a card, getting endurance. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in Nick Fury with these 4. After he enters play, we can choose to either remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. I'm going to go with drawing 3 cards. And we get Winter Soldier, Espionage, and Widow's Bite. So we'll go ahead and put in Widow's Bite. Flip over. We will attack for 2 with Black Widow on this one, then attack for 2 more to take out the Thrall. Putting a damage on him. And actually, I forgot, when I played him, he would have cost us 1 less. So we had Espionage in hand. And since it might change the game state, I'm just not going to do anything with that. So we'll go ahead and flip over. We'll play Fearless Determination. As a hero action, he gets +1 thwart until the end of the phase, and we draw a card. Getting an uppercut. We've got another one. So +1 thwart, draw a card, getting a Super Soldier Serum. We're going to put in Combat Training, giving us +1 to our attack. We'll go ahead and swing for 3 on this one. Discard a card to ready. Thwart for 4, since we're base 2. And we played those. Then we'll put in a Super Soldier Serum for 2. So as a resource, we can exhaust this to generate a physical resource. And we'll go ahead and use that to put our shield in play, which will give us +1 defense, and we gain Retaliate. And end our turn. I'm going to go ahead and discard Espionage, keep him. Draw 4 more cards. Getting Energy Barrier, Defensive Stance, Strength, and Endurance. And over here, we'll get 5. Getting Counterattack, Enhanced Physique, Shield Toss, Heroic Strike, and Power of Aggression. Start of the villain phase, we get 2 threat. Green Goblin will attack, Nick will defend. So base 2, 2 damage coming in, just enough to take him down. Then the same thing on Cap. He will defend, so we got a defense of 3. So base 2, 3 damage coming in. So we take nothing, but we retaliate for 1. Down to 35. And we'll deal out another encounter card and watch all the fun begin. First with Black Widow. Death from Above. Green Goblin attacks with +X attack, where X is equal to the villain's stage number. It's not great, but I think there's worse. So we'll go ahead and have her defend. So it's going to be base 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodness. 7. So we're going to take 5 damage. And since we took a damage, we're going to place a threat. Then we get a Goblin Thrall. And we can use Widow's Bite. After a minion enters play, discard Widow's Bite, deal 2 damage to it, and stun it. So 2 damage, stunned. And after you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy. All right, so that was short-lived. And then we get Pumpkin Bombs. Attached to the villain, it's a force response after the villain attacks you. Discard Pumpkin Bombs and take 2 indirect damage. It's a hero action. We can spend 2 physical resources to discard this card. See how Cap does here. Master Plan, I'm not a fan of. Place 4 threat on each side scheme. If there are no side schemes, discard cards until you find one. We're going to go ahead and grappling hook that one. Doing a damage to Goblin for that. Then the villain will scheme. So base 2. So we're up to 5 out of 14. And then he's going to scheme again. So base 2, 3. So 8. And then Cap becomes first player. So we're going to start out with a heroic strike. We're going to pay 3, deal 6 damage to an enemy. If you paid for this using a physical resource, which we are, and we've also got a wild, we can stun that enemy. So down to 28. And stunned. Then I think I'm going to use our serum to put in counterattack. So as a hero response, after you take damage from an enemy attack, discard counterattack, deal an equal amount of damage to that enemy. And I think she's going to flip over. We'll put in a defensive stance. So max 1 per player is a hero interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, discard defensive stance to prevent 3 of that damage. That allows to draw a card into Dance of Death. Then we'll bring in the Winter Soldier for 3. So his ability is reduce the cost to play him by 1 for each preparation card we have. So we've got 1. So we paid our 3. We'll bring him in and have him thwart for 2. That will end her turn. So drawing 5 over here. Getting strength, counterattack, shield block, combat training, and an uppercut. And then 6 on this side. So we've got our synth suit, defensive stance, widow's bite, covert ops, energy barrier, and espionage. So we'll start by going from 6 to 8. Goblin's going to attack, get rid of his stunned. Then scheme for 2, 5. So up to 13 out of 14. Deal out some encounter cards. Getting a Goblin Thrall for Cap. And Natasha also finds a Thrall. So we will start by putting Widow's Bite into play, which lets us draw a card, getting Mockingbird. We are going to have to recover for 3. We're going to do Covert Ops. So as an action, remove 4 threat from a scheme, confuse the villain. Then we'll have him thwart for 2. And I feel like she really needs to flip over. Then Cap is going to swing for 3 on this thrall. We'll discard a card to ready. Have him swing for 3 on this one. Then we're going to do an uppercut. So as a hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy. Paying with those. Down to 23. And end her turn. So we're going to keep our synth suit and draw 4 more. All right, some really good cards coming up. And for Cap, we'll keep our shield block and draw 4 more. All right, Relentless Assault, Uppercut, our Asgard Weapon, and Downtime. For Goblin, we'll go +2 over there. He's going to attack. We'll have Winter Soldier defend. So it's going to be a base 3. No, I'm sorry, just 2. So he's coming in for 3 damage. Which will take out Winter Soldier. After he attacks and damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. Didn't damage us. Then another force response. After the villain attacks you, discard pumpkin bombs and take 2 indirect damage. And we are going to do a defensive stance on that. So when you would take any amount of damage, discard this to prevent 3 of that. So we prevent that damage. And with her ability, do 1 back. Then attacking on Cap, he's going to let it come for base 2, 4 damage. He will interrupt, so when you would take any amount of damage, exhaust his shield and prevent all of that damage. And then retaliate for 1, down to 21. Then encounter cards. Pumpkin Bombs, he's got more. And Regenerative Healing. When revealed, the villain heals X damage, where X is equal to double the villain's stage number. So he's at stage 2. So healing up to 25. And Cap goes first. So we're going to play downtime using our serum here. Play under any player's control to have them get +2 recovery. We're going to help Black Widow out with that. Then we're going to put in our weapon here. So as a response, after your hero attacks an enemy, spend a physical resource, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we're going to have him swing for 3, down to 22. Then we've got a physical resource, but we do more damage if we discard a card to ready. So we'll swing for another 3, down to 19. Then Black Widow. She has so many good cards, it's hard to make decisions. So we're going to have her thwart for 2. And flip over. We're going to put in her safe house. So as an alter ego action, exhaust this to choose a prep card in our discard pile. Add that to your hand. So take that. And I really want her synth suit in play. So we're going to spin those 3, giving her +1 defense. And after you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, exhaust synth suit and ready Black Widow. And end her turn, getting 5 cards for Cap. So we've got a shield toss, power of aggression, a shield block, his helmet, and genius. And then for her, she'll get 6. Getting grappling hook, a gauntlet, about time we find one of those. Defensive stance, target acquired ×2, and power protection. So 2 more threat. Goblin's going to attack over here. We're letting it come, so base 2. All right, boost after this activation ends. Shuffle this card into the encounter deck. So we've got 4 damage coming. We're going to shield block. So we take no damage. Retaliate for 1. After he attacks and damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. We didn't take damage. We go, like I said, both these trigger at the same time, so we choose the order. Now after he attacks, we take 2 indirect damage. That we've got nothing for. Then this gets shuffled back in. And he goes to scheme over here and gets rid of confused. Counter cards. Hero, the villain, and each minion engaged with you attacks you. So he'll defend. So base 2 attack, 3/4 coming in. We're blocking 3, taking 1, which triggers putting a threat up here, and we retaliate for 1 down to 17. Then for Black Widow, she finds a goblin soldier. So scheme an attack of 1, health of 5, and when defeated, deal 1 damage to the engaged player. And she'll become first player. First thing we'll do is with the power protection, put in defensive stance, which is a prep card, letting us draw a card, getting target acquired. We're going to use that to put in our Widow's Gauntlet. So we can exhaust this to generate a wild resource for a preparation card. Then we'll use our safe house to go looking through our discard pile for a prep card. And I think now I want to get Attack Acrobatics. Then we'll put that in play with our Gauntlet. This is a hero interrupt. It's an attack. When a boost card is turned face up, discard this, cancel the boost icons on that card, deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon canceled this way. Then we're going to put in a grappling hook. It's a hero interrupt to cancel a treachery card. Then we will go ahead and flip over. And let's see. We're at 10 out of 14 there. I think we'll put 2 on him. So we're going to discard a card to ready. Swing for 3 to take out the soldier, which will deal 1 damage to Black Widow. Then after your hero attacks an enemy, spend a physical resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we'll do that here. To do 2 damage to the goblin, down to 15. Then as a just in case, we're going to put her helmet into play. It's an interrupt. When he would be defeated, set his hit point dial to 1 instead, then discard this card. That will end her turn. Drawing 5 over here, so we get 3. Then an encounter card. And shuffle for 2 more. So we're starting to get built up. So we've got target acquired, an energy barrier, Luke Cage, Genius, and our other gauntlet. And for Cap, we're keeping Genius that we had. 4 more cards. He's got his apartment, Agent 13, our other serum, and enhanced physique. So 2 more threat, going up to 12. Attack on Black Widow, she's going to defend. So base 3 defense. We've got 1, 2, 3 coming in. So she is okay from that. Goblin will attack on Cap. He's going to defend. So base 2, put the soldier into play, engage with you. So he defended against that. He'll retaliate. Then the soldier is going to swing at him for 1. He will retaliate. Deal out some encounter cards. So the first one, Goblin Nation. Each goblin enemy gets +1 attack and comes out with 4 threat on it. Next, Goblin Reinforcements. When revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each goblin minion in play. So it's coming in with 3. It's going to give us an extra encounter card next round if we don't deal with that. And then lastly, Intimidation. When revealed, choose to either spend 2 resources of any type or give the villain 1 face-down boost card. We'll go ahead and have Black Widow jump in on that one. So that was a treachery, so she'll go ahead and use this to cancel all that. We can deal a damage to an enemy. We'll put on the soldier here. And it's a hero response. After you trigger the ability of a prep card, exhaust this and ready Black Widow. Then Cap will be first player. We will discard a card to ready, then attack for 3 to take care of the soldier, which is going to do a damage back to us. We'll put in our second super soldier serum with Genius. Then we will flip over, use 1 to put in our Steve's apartment. It's an alter ego action. Exhaust this, draw a card, and heal a damage. So we'll go up to 7, draw a card, getting Hall of Heroes. Next ally we play this round is going to be one less. So I'll bring in Agent 13, using this for one, and our serum for the other one. So that's our 2 resources. After she enters play, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So she'll take this down to 1. Then she will thwart for 2. Then we'll have Black Widow thwart for 2. Then I think we're just going to give up on that and flip over. We'll use our gauntlet to bring in target acquired, which will let us draw a card, getting Dance of Death. We'll use our safe house to bring this back into our hand, then use that to put our other gauntlet into play. Then we're going to bring in Luke Cage for 4. Comes in with toughness, but we're going to go ahead and thwart with him, which will put a damage on him, removing the toughness. And we'll thwart over here to get rid of that. So many cards, so little space. So that's going to end her turn. Trying to make some room here. So drawing 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get in a counter card and shuffle. And 6. We've got the Hulk, Relentless Assault, Valkyrie, Heroic Strike, Downtime, and Power of Aggression. And then over here, we'll get 6 cards. To be a grappling hook, armored vest ×2, energy barrier, espionage, and covert ops. So 2 threat on here takes us to 14. So 2A, when revealed, advance to stage 2B. Whoops. Forgot this. When completed in player order, each player not engaged with a goblin minion must discard 3 cards from the encounter deck and put the first goblin minion they discarded this way to play engaged with them. So first 3 cards, 1, 2, and 3. That worked out for us. And then over here, 1, 2, and Goblin Soldier. All right, now we're on to the Mutagen Cloud. So this has a threshold of 11 per player. It's going to come out with 8 threat on it. And each additional turn, X is going to be equal to the number of goblin enemies in play, including Green Goblin. So scheming over here. Base 2, 3, 4, and then shuffle him back in. And then on Natasha, a base 2, another 4 coming in on that one. So 16. And then this is going to add another one, 17 out of 22. Not looking good. Some encounter cards out. First we get Hysteria. Attached to Green Goblins, force interrupt. When he schemes or attacks, give him +1 additional boost card for that activation. We need a hero action to spend 2 mental resources to discard that. And then he finds a monster. When revealed, you're stunned. If you're already stunned, take 2 damage. And for Natasha, she finds the Goblin Knight. It's a forced response. After he attacks you, discard 1 card from the encounter deck. If that card is a Goblin minion, put that into play engaged with you. And we'll move our first player token. The first thing we're going to do is use our safe house to get our grappling hook, then use our 2 gauntlets to put that into play, which will let us draw a card, getting target acquired. Then we will flip over. We're going to do covert ops, spending 3 resources. Remove 4 threat from a scheme and confuse the villain. Then we're going to discard 2 mental resources to get rid of Hysteria. Then we'll have her thwart for 2. Luke Cage is going to swing for 2. We'll put that on a Goblin Knight. So we're going to start drawing a card and healing a damage, getting a shield block, going up to 8. First ally we put into play is going to be 1 cheaper. So we'll pay for that with our serum here, bringing in the Hulk. He is going to swing into the Goblin Soldier for 3. Then we're going to discard the top card of our deck, finding a physical resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy, which we'll go ahead and put on him to get him out of the way, which will do a damage to Natasha, and a damage goes on him. Then we're going to flip over and attack to get rid of stunned. Then we'll do Relentless Assault, dealing 5 damage to a minion. And, of course, if it had overkill, that would matter, but 5 is what it's going to take care of the Goblin Knight. We'll discard a card to ready Cap and have him swing for 3 over here. Then we're going to do a Heroic Strike, using this for a 3rd resource to deal 6 damage to an enemy to take care of the monster here. Then Agent 13 will thwart for 2. And I believe that's our turn. So we had some answers there. So drawing 5 cards here, I'll go ahead and discard the one I had in hand. So we've got Strength, Endurance, Defensive Stance, Espionage, and Attack Acrobatics. And then over here, getting 5 cards. Hall of Heroes, Mockingbird, Heroic Strike, Uppercut, and Fearless Determination. Start of the turn, we're just going to get 1 because Goblin is the only green thing out there. So we're up to 10. Going to attack on Black Widow. She's going to defend. So it's a base 2. Put him into play. So after boost card is turned face up, discard target acquired, cancel that boost card's ability. And that will trigger doing a damage and trigger us readying. And with just 2 damage coming in, we had a defense of 3, so nothing happens there. Then Goblin will attack over here. We're going to have Agent 13 jump in front of that. So base 2, 3 damage coming in. Agent 13 goes away. Deal out some encounter cards. So Intimidation, when revealed, choose to either spend 2 resources of any type or give the villain 1 face down boost card. I think we'll go for the face down boost card. And then over here, Regenerative Healing. That we're going to stop with our grappling hook. So instead of healing, he'll take a damage. And first player moves over. So first thing we'll do for Cap is give him some Fearless Determination, hero action, +1 thwart, and he draws a card. getting power of aggression. We will have him thwart for 3. We'll then have the Hulk swing for 3. So down to 6. Do his ability. So that's going to do 1 damage to everybody. So down to 5. 4. 1 here. 1 there. And then he ends up with another 2. Then we're going to do an uppercut here, doing 5 damage to an enemy, which will take down our first version of Goblin here. So when revealed, deal 3 encounter cards to each player. So 3 goes through our deck, so we get an acceleration token. So this is going to be a scary turn. So after he attacks and damages you, he places 2 threat on the main scheme, and he's got 20 per player, so 40 health. Then we'll play a Heroic Strike using Mockingbird and our 2 serums here. Dealing 6 damage to an enemy, and we've used a physical resource, so we'll stun that enemy. Down to 34. And stunned. So we have Luke Cage attack for 2. Black Widow's not feeling the best. She's going to flip over and recover for 5, going up to 9. Then we'll use our safe house to get grappling hook back. Put that in with strength. Allows us to draw a card. Dance of Death. Then we're going to use one of those to put in Espionage. So this is going to deal with Surge keywords. We'll use our other one to put in Attack Acrobatics. Then we're going to use Defensive Stance to bring in Endurance. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player, to give them 3 extra hit points. So we'll take Cap up to 10. And we'll choose to keep Dance of Death in our hand. All right. So 5 cards. Relentless Assault, Fearless Determination, Enhanced Physique, Heroic Strike, and Counterattack. And over here, we're going to get 6 cards. Keeping that, so 5 more. So Nick Fury, Widow's Bite, Energy, Mockingbird, and Covert Ops. 1 Goblin in play with an acceleration, so we'll add 2. So up to 9. Goblin goes to attack, but he's stunned. Then he'll go to scheme, but he's confused. So then we're going to have 8 encounter cards to go through. First one being a Goblin Glider. Attached to the enemy with the highest printed hit points. So they're going to get +1 attack, and we can spend 2 energy resources to discard that card. Next, Goblin Guider. If we can't attach it, it gets Surge, which brings out a Burn Notice. So our options, we may flip to our alter ego form. We're already there. Then we choose, we can exhaust Natasha, remove this card from the game. Or we can discard the preparation card you control with the highest cost. If you cannot, this card gains Surge. So we are just going to discard our grappling hook. Then we get a Goblin Thrall coming in play. And then, when revealed, the hero or the villain attacks you. And I think we're just going to have Luke Cage jump in front of that one. So it's a base 3, 4, 5, 6, and shuffle that back in. So that's 3 or 4 of 8 counter cards taken care of. Now we get Hysteria again. So when the Goblin Schemes are attacked, we give them an additional boost card. Oh, speaking of additional boost cards, that previous attack had that attached to it. Next encounter card is a Thrall. Then we get another Thrall. And man is out of time. So we may flip to Alter Ego form. We can remove Exhaust Steam to remove this from the game, or discard half the cards in your hand rounded down. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're flipping over, exhausting, removing that from the game. And Natasha. We will use Safe House to get her grappling hook. Use our gauntlets to put that in play. Allows us to draw a card, getting the power of protection. So flipping over. As a hero action, we're going to spend 2 mental resources, because that is ridiculous. Then for 3, we're going to do a Dance of Death. So hero action, make the following 3 attacks in order. We're going to deal 1 damage, then 2, then 3. So 1, then 2, takes care of that Thrall. Then 3 to take care of that Thrall. Then we'll put out a Widow's Bite. Then we will attack for 2, taking him down to 30. Then over on this side, we are going to draw a card and heal a damage, getting a shield block, taking it to 11. Flip over, discard a card to ready. Then give us +1 thwart and draw a card, getting an uppercut. Then we're going to go for a Relentless Assault using our 2 free resources down here, which are physical, so you deal 5 damage, and it gets overkill. So this will soak up 3. 2 breaks through down to 28. Then we shall have Hulk attack for 3, down to 25, looking at the top card, which is going to do a damage to everybody. So down to 24, down to 8, down to 10. He'll go to 4 and then take another one, so the Hulk is out. Since we're +1 thwart, we'll go ahead and use that to remove 3. Then we're going to do a Heroic Strike, doing 6 damage and stunning an enemy. Down to 18. And stunned. That will end her turn. 5 cards here. Getting Energy Barrier, Espionage, Defensive Stance, Nova, and Winter Soldier. And then over here, getting 5 cards. Got Energy, Relentless Assault, Counterattack, Uppercut, and Genius. Start of the turn. Well, we're going to get 2. That's right. So we'll take off 1 and put up 3. So we're up to 8 out of 22. Goblin goes to attack, but he's stunned over here. Cap is letting it come. So base 4. Put Goblin Soldier into play. I don't think I have anything to deal with that other than Widow's Bite. After a minion enters play, discard to deal 2 damage to that minion and stun it. All right, so just a basic 4 coming in on Cap. So he's going to take that down to 6. He's going to do a counter attack. After you take damage from an enemy attack, discard counterattack, dealing an equal amount of damage to that enemy. So he'll be dealing 4 back, down to 14, along with his retaliate, down to 13. Then he's going to attack and get rid of stunned. Then deal out some encounter cards. Master plan, don't like that. So we are going to go ahead and interrupt, dealing a damage to Green Goblin. Then over here, Shadow of the Past. I like that one even less. All right, one revealed. We're getting a Nemesis minion, our side scheme, and shuffling the rest into our deck. For Cap, that's going to be the Baron. He's got Quick Strike. So when he's engaged with you, while Baron is engaged with you, you cannot thwart, but the Quick Strike means he comes in. If we're in hero form, he attacks for 3. And we're just going to take it, but bash him back with our shield for 1. Then we get the hit squad. When revealed in player order, each player discards a top card of the encounter deck and takes 1 damage for each boost icon discarded this way. So first over here, we have a boost of 1. And for Cap, no boosts. But I believe that boost only happens in combat. Then the 2 Hydra Soldiers and Hail Hydra will get shuffled into our encounter deck. And of course, while all that was going on, when Zimmo came in, after a minion enters play, discard this to deal 2 damage to it. And stun him. And Cap becomes first player. And this does have 6 threat on it. So none of these guys have guard. We're going to go ahead and do a relentless assault with their Super Soldier Serum. So 5 damage with overkill. 3 goes on this guy. 2 breaks through, taking him down to 10. And we took a damage when he leaves. Then we're going to do an uppercut for 5 damage. Taking him down to 5. Then Cap's going to swing for 3, taking him down to 2. Then Cap can do this all day. So we're going to ready Cap and have him swing for another 3. Taking out the Green Goblin and the mutagen formula has been dealt with. So taking a look at our deck construction for Black Widow, I definitely like flipping her over till we get her really built up so we can take advantage of the mission prep. And along with mission prep, getting her gauntlets out early to help get her preparation cards out for free, safe house to go through her discard pile, and the synth suit, if you can get that out early to help ready Black Widow after she defends. Then dealing with treachery cards with a grappling hook, minions coming in with Widow's Bite, and then boost icons with acrobatics. Great cards, Dance of Death, for 3 resources to do a total of 6 damage on 3 different targets. Great card. Covert Ops, removing threat, confusing the villain. Then Winter Soldier, typically you can get him in for free, sometimes for a little bit of nothing. Then our protection cards, of course we've got 2 power protections. The defensive stance, just to prevent us from taking damage. 3 of those. Energy barrier, got 3 of those. Just saving her life since she's a bit fragile. armored vest just to play off her synth suit, give her more defense. Got 2 of those since I'm playing in a 2-player game, and then Luke Cage and Nova. Then our basic cards, we've got our 3 resources. Espionage to help us out when surges happen. 3 of those, and 3 targets acquired for boost abilities. Then Endurance, got 2 of those since 2 players to give us +3 hit points, which Cap was very appreciative of. And then Mockingbird and Nick Fury. And then for Cap, to me, he's all about keeping him in his hero mode as long as possible. Remembering to retaliate is always good. Super Soldier Serums, get those out as quick as you can. Heroic Strikes. So, I mean, because I'm playing Power of Aggression, I went heavy on physical resources to help this out. Steve's Apartment helps when he does have to flip over and gets a little dinged. Fearless Determination, so he can deal with threat as needed. The shield blocks, shield tosses, which could have come in handy, it just never presented the opportunity. Agent 13 to help with threat. And then his helmet, in case he does get hit for a bit too much. Then our aggression cards, 2 Power of Aggressions. And since the new Goblin had a lot of minions coming in, we've got 3 Relentless Assaults. And once again, a lot of physical resources to help us with that. 2 Combat Trainings. Very good for Cap since you can get him to swing twice to do 6 damage if needed. Then the Hulk, once again, a lot of my cards have the physical resource just for this. 3 Uppercuts. 3 Counterattacks. Our Asgard weapon, just in case we can't ready him, we can discard one of our cards or use one of our resources from the serum to give us an extra 2 damage. And Valkyrie and Hall of Heroes would have been good if I could have got that out early, but that just didn't happen. And then for our basic cards, we've got our 3 resources. Downtime, just to help us out as needed, plus the 2 physical resources. Mockingbird can come in handy just to stun an enemy if you're not hitting them with the Heroic Strike. And then just 2 more hero resources that provide physical resources. So that's my deck construction for teaming up Black Widow with Captain America against Green Goblin. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.